in the process of kind of ironing one out right now. It's not official yet because he hasn't been processed, so we'll see if that comes through. So anyway, that was a good class, and again, appreciate all the efforts, whether it be around town, whether we're staying uptown and then going out to eat, or all the interactions we have, our academic support people help us, the people that serve the meals for us up top. We've got several car dealers to help us out with just transportation throughout the year. It's a collective effort of a lot of people, and again, we're slowly building our organization in a positive way, and I think this is a good class. So I guess real quick, I hadn't really planned anything. Let me go through, I'll give you a quick synopsis of some guys. First of all, in general, and you want to have some balance, but the last few years we have really targeted defense so hard, we put a little bit more emphasis on offensive numbers, and we're not trying to be 50-50, but I want to say going into this year, we had signed 39 kids the last 3 years. And like right now with this class, that's 47, and 47 times 2 is 94. That's more than half of your recruiting commitment. So we wanted some offensive guys. And you don't wait till a guy graduates, typically, and recruit a guy and expect him to come in and play winning Big Ten football in the Big Ten East immediately day one. You're kind of thinking 1 or 2 years in advance for the development side, physically and psychologically and emotionally and all that kind of stuff. So there's a number of offensive guys. The O-line class, I think, is reasonable with their body types, their length, their athleticism. You know, a kid I fell in love with early was Coy Crunk. He's a catcher and on the baseball team, on a tremendous team. He's playing Mike linebacker. And he's pushing 6'5", and right now he's over 280 pounds. The way he could run was intriguing. Mackenzie Nowar out of Houston, very athletic guard, was intriguing. So some of those guys it was good to get 4 quality linemen in the class. Brian Smith and Grayson Stover, the other 2. Tight end position was pretty critical. You know, we lost last year, counting Sean Damaska, the walk-on. We lost 3 tight ends. And so to bring in Ian Thomas, who was actually on a visit last week to Texas A&M. Still stuck with us and was offered. Thought it was too far away from home, liked the offense. Had a great relationship with Coach Patton. You know, A&M came in with 1 week. Coach Patton had a couple months of working, kind of weathered the storm there. But I was intrigued with him. I was very excited about Sean Bonner. Sean plays on a Colquitt County, Georgia team that's state champion, 30-0. I think they were the national champion by several high school teams. It's a high-end program. He's 260 couple pounds. Great blocker, and he plays in the backfield. You see him moving around. He does a lot of things our tight ends do. And then the guy I'm kind of throwing in that class, he's halfway a running back, halfway a blocker. One of my favorite players was Tyler Nateet. He was a 6-footer, weighed 263 on his visit. He's quarterback, lefty. So you're left-handed quarterback and you're 6'2", 263. You're not attractive. And when I went to Texas to see a kid by the Lego kid, I went to a couple high schools, and I just asked a question to a coach at a tremendous program, South Lake Carroll. I said, "Who's the best player around here?" He said, "There's a quarterback at Euless Trinity. He's the best player in Dallas. Nobody's recruiting him." I said, "Why?" "Well, he's a 6 foot, 260-pound quarterback." And so I went to see Carter Whitson's dad, South Grand Prairie. I said, "How about the kid at Euless Trinity?" He said, he beat us. He was awesome. And so the next thing you know, I'm in the car and I'm driving to Euless Trinity, which is a tremendous program. And walked in and saw him, and I said, "Coach, why is no one recruiting him?" He says, "Well, the assistant coaches are having a hard time selling him to the head coach." I go, "Well, I'm the head coach and I like him." And so we kind of cut to the chase real quick, got him on a visit, and you know, I think he could be a goal line, big back, a little bit of a blocker. I think he's a very gifted, big athlete, he's a good ball carrier. So I like the big guys, I like those big tight ends. We got some really good running backs and receivers, a couple quarterbacks. So offensive skills good. We had defensive secondary hard. And Marcelino Ball that we kind of felt was coming out of a great program too. Matter of fact, they lost to Colquitt County in the Georgia State Championship. 2 best teams in Georgia was Roswell versus Colquitt County. Tremendous player. I saw him early December, fell in love with him, the way he looked. We're calling him a defensive back. He'll play that nickel safety, basically what's been an outside linebacker for us, but intrigued by Marcelino. Did take a lot of big guys up front. That'll be a priority next year. Hopefully we've answered that in the previous years, last 2 years, with the linebackers and D-line we've recruited. So a class now of 20, and we got an ad. So going through these guys quickly. Marcelino Ball, see him as our outside, what coaches previously called the Husky, like a big, strong safety nickel guy, very athletic, very explosive. Athletic family. Reggie Ball was his brother. I think 2 of his brothers have played NFL football. Great program, Roswell, Georgia. Lost in their state championship. They had a great kid, dynamic, athletic. 6'1"-ish, 6'6.5", 6'1", 205-pound athletic outside linebacker safety type. Phil Baker, I'm going alphabetically. Phil committed to us a long time ago from Sandalwood, Florida. I had a chance to see him play in person this year when we were for open date. He committed last summer. He's a big kid. He's actually already graduated and wanted to be here for spring semester, but we didn't have the mid-year spots available. We took those two and filled those with Lego and with Jamie Thompson. So Phil wanted to be here. He's taking some college credits right now. A unique kid. His mom's from Germany and came over, so it's kind of a different family there, visiting with them, and the conversations were quite. My wife did an exchange for 6 months in Germany, so she was my official interpreter during our official visit here. So I appreciate Angie helping me out there with Phil's mom. But a big receiver, athletic kid. Is going to come in. He'll probably weigh low 200s when he shows up. He's a big-bodied receiver that we like and think we need in the Big Ten. Got on Sean Bonner late. If you watch his tape and watch him play in the backfield, moving around, great ball skills, tremendous program. And he was over 260 pounds when he visited here. He's a big kid. He'll have a blocking presence. And maybe big enough and good enough to play as a young man. We use that position quite a lot. I think this year as the offense took off a little bit, it was a credit to the tight end play and losing a couple guys. So very, very excited about Sean Bonner. Khalil Bryant was an early commitment with Phil. They're both from Jacksonville. Khalil has also graduated early. And so he's been on my son today on his visit. He was working a part-time job at UPS. He was all dressed in his brown outfit, looking all good. And he's got him a little job, but a very physical defensive back. Maybe a chance to be a Husky guy, but a strong safety type. Does a lot down in the box, tackling. A very, very physical player that we're excited about, Khalil Bryant. Coy Crunk, saw his tape last summer, and he was playing junior linebacker, going sideline to sideline. A great program at West Lafayette Catholic, another state championship team. Very athletic, big guy. Dad was a graduate assistant here for Coach Mallory back in 1991, so as a tie there. Mom's a principal at elementary school. Really got some work to do there as far as learning the position, almost like a basketball, baseball, tight end, D-end guy that's growing into one of those big athletic offensive, or could even play defense line, to tell you the truth. But we got him penciled in as an offensive tackle. Don't tell Coach Fry I said that. But he's a he was a top kid that we were on early, and we were excited when he committed, and I'm really glad that he's signed. Brandon Drayton was recruited by a number of top programs in the country. At one time was committed to another Big Ten school out of Largo High School, which is John Crawford's high school, Diamond Hills High School. Matter of fact, Coach Fry's high school coach used to be the coach there and kind of volunteers. So we got some great ties there with the Drayton family and in that area. Matter of fact, one of my favorite players in Oklahoma is a young man by the name of Davin Joseph, who played for the Bucks. And there was a lady that kind of worked in our town that actually married a guy that's the basketball coach at Largo. And she actually lives in town, and Brandon plays basketball, and she's gotten to know Brandon very, very well. So even had an Oklahoma Sooner in our back pocket. Even last year with Diamond Hill and with those guys, it was giving us a lot of love. Davin Joseph, one of my favorite players of all time. She had a personal affection and relationship with Davin, and that being said, her marrying the basketball coach at Largo has really helped us recruit those guys, so I appreciate Ms. Val. Keontae Enos, very, very talented kid. We'll bring Keontae in as a running back. That's what he wants to play. He had over 7,000 career yards, I think, according to coach. That was his comments. 99 rushing touchdowns. We had him in camp 2 years ago, and then playing what we call Hoosier ball, which is just a run-around tag, run-around place. He could play safeties, corners, receivers, big skill kid. A 200-pound plus running back. We'll start there. We'll see how he handles it. I think he'll handle it well, but he's got a skill set to play a lot of things. And again, he was committed to another school in the conference, but glad he's kind of coming our way. And with him and Coy, that's our two in-state guys. We'd like to get a few more of the guys in-state. Worked hard, just didn't. We'll work harder, and hopefully next year get a couple more. But excited to have Keontae. Great athletic family. I'm going to say his grandpa's cousin. There was an Enos that played. I don't think it's immediate family, but they're all in the same area and related. It was Rick Enos, I believe, that played here. Late 60s, early 70s, somewhere like that. Right. And of course, he's a little bit more closely related to Curtis Enos, that was a nice back at Penn State back in the mid-90s, late 90s. Jerome Johnson, a young man we got on late. We're down in Bassfield Coach McCullough last week was kind of hitting a few places from place to place and popped through Arkansas a few states. We had Jerome on campus. He had a lot of offers early where some guys filled up. We did need some defensive linemen. We did take him late. I played in the Mississippi-Alabama State All-Star game. Very athletic, big guy. We were impressed. We watched his tape here late. We put up some game tape, and the thing I can say best about him was every play, no matter if he made the play, he was turning and running to the ball. You watch a highlight tape, and you see a guy not get blocked, make a tackle, kill a guy, and say, that looks good. But when you watch linemen play, you want to watch them play after play after play. You get a feel for their effort. And the best thing about Jerome was he was chasing the ball every play, wasn't standing around watching. So for a big 300-pounder, excited to have him up front. Good student. I think there's some question about that. His grades he's already qualified. He's got to pass English like every senior basically does, but he's academically in great standing. Richard Lego signed, been here. He looks well in our workouts. We're doing lifting and running now. I haven't really seen him throw. Can't do that, but excited about Richard. He'll be in the mix. To say he's going to be our quarterback, though, he's going to have to, one, show he can handle it, and two, earn the respect and have the command presence, but earn the respect of his teammates. So we'll see how he progresses. Very, very talented, and a target we needed. I'm glad he's here, and he's doing great. Jonah Morris is a big receiver. Does have the skill set to play many spots on defense. If you watch his tape, he can play outside linebacker, safety, but he is a big receiver. We play with those guys. That's where we're bringing him into play. Very, very talented, recruited by a lot of guys. When some things at the end, he didn't like some things, he kind of approached us, said, I've always liked your offense. I want to bump a visit and come this week, and if I like it, I'm going to commit. And we were excited, and so he kind of got into with us a little bit more than us chasing him. State championship team, Akron-Hoban. Akron-Hoban, I have a picture if you want to see it, but I got a picture of Bobby Johnson on the Akron-Hoban 1991 class list, because I did recruit Bobby out of Hoban. And since Bobby did coach here as a former great Hoosier coach, I did send a picture to Bobby to the Oakland Raiders and said legend. And he questioned that. He said he hoped Jonah was a lot tougher than he was. So, but we're excited about Jonah out of Hoban and had some fun with one of our former coaches, Bobby Johnson, there. Tyler Nattee, I talked about him, big quarterback, same as a big running back. We don't play with a true fullback, but sometimes you get both those guys in there. One's a little bit more of a blocker, and you can do some things. Really intrigued by Tyler. Great feat, an awesome football program. Euless Trinity is one of the premier programs in the state, just like Colquitt County, Georgia, Roswell, Georgia, St. Ed's, Cleveland. These kids are coming out of some big-time high school programs, so really like Tyler. Mackenzie Noah, Wara, excuse me, I'm saying it right, it's a Wara, right? It's a silent N. Very unique kid. Family was in line in the country, in Nigeria, to actually be in the presidential lineage, or whatever that, help me the king, whatever they have, help me out. Mr. Glasses here, I'm not Mr. Politically correct on these governmental deals. But it's an unbelievable family. And the best thing about that family was the last time they were there, she didn't cook for Coach Fry because she was doing all these fancy meals, and Coach Fry was putting on a lot of weight, and his wife was getting concerned. So the last meal we cut off Coach Fry, he was not allowed to eat Miss Evelyn's food. I'll tell you a great story about it. His name is Mackenzie, and he has a car that my daughter Mackenzie has. And he nicknamed his car Elena. I go, well, my oldest daughter is Elena, and I got a daughter named Mackenzie, and Mackenzie drives the same car that you're calling Elena, so this is a done deal. So it's like one of those ironic things. You remember, I have a picture of Mackenzie and his car Elena that we were going to share later today back to them. But a very talented offensive lineman. I would compare him to some of my Oklahoma kids with his athleticism, feet, quickness. I think that kid's a legitimate player. I think we've had some pretty good guys. I said it was going to be pretty good. This guy's going to be pretty good, is pretty good. This guy's got a chance to be really good. Coach Fry got all over him. He was committed to Missouri one time with the coaching change. A lot of guys came after him. Very educated, well-rounded, tremendous athlete. Excited about him. Peyton Ramsey, coach's kid, Cincinnati Elgin. Two-time GCL Player of the Year. Great conference, great football quarterback. Dad played quarterback. Pedigree, another great program, great area he's coming from. So excited about Peyton. He'll be a freshman quarterback. Committed a long time ago. Appreciate everything he's about. He's going to be awesome. Ashawn Riggins, committed a long time ago. Recruited by many schools in our league to change his commitment after he committed. I think he needs 20-some points and a couple assists to go over 1,000 and be the all-time assist leader at Hamilton High. Marcus Oliver's high school. A lot of clips playing offense on his highlights, but he's going to be a big corner. And again, really like what Ashawn's going to bring to the game. Ryan Smith played defensive line. We projected him as an offensive lineman, and that's what Moeller played him at this year. Played both ways. And again, another big-time program, GCL, Cincinnati Moeller. Ryan, again, very athletic kid. 290, 300 pounds, good cut, good looking guy, great program. He's going to be an awesome player. We see him as an inside center or guard. Alan Stallings we got on late. Alan's big for that size now. He's, I want to say 26 or 27-2 in wrestling, state of Illinois. His high school program a year ago was the national championship wrestling team. He's a big-time wrestler. He's explosive and quick with his hands. He might be slightly a little bit undersized on length, but he is a high motor, aggressive guy. We got him late. We needed a couple edge guys. We were missing on a couple, but his skill set's plenty good. And if you watch his tape, he's explosive. We were intrigued by that wrestling deal. We're going to have him and T. Gray Scales lock up one day and see who's the best wrestler on our team, because those wrestling guys have a knack to be good football players. And he's coming out maybe the premier wrestling high school program in the country. And even though we're a football team, that translates a lot to me. Grayson Stover, Tampa area offensive tackle. We weren't sure with our numbers if we're going to take an offensive lineman or not. And Coach Fry even made a suggestion. I don't know if I can take him. He was getting pressured. He made a commitment wanting to come here. But Greg said, hey, I can't promise you. And if I got one here in a week, I'll come back to you. We came back to him because we felt we needed one more offensive tackle. So Grayson was committed to another school, switched back, but he always liked us. He came up here, was recruited by many Big Ten schools, had a great offer list, was up here back for our, I think either Ohio, might be our Michigan game. Ohio State or Michigan game is on its official visit. So we're able to land him here late. Offensive tackle, long, athletic, excited about him. Ian Thomas, athletic tight end. We can flex out as a receiver, bring him inside, a little bit more of a receiver than a blocking tight end, a basketball type body. Did trip A&M last week, had a lot of South Carolina, some other schools on him. Coach Patton did an awesome job, like Coach Fry, with Grayson Stover, where he had such a good relationship. He's able to weather the storm, and excited about him. And Jamie Thompson here is already on campus. Jamie from Toledo had signed with another Big Ten school, went to Iowa Western. He's here 2 years to play and looking good. And we're in the process maybe of landing one more. Potentially, we've got two spots still available. But right now, we've got those 22 guys on campus and 18 are official today. So, like the class, bigger bodies, longer bodies. Mr. Glass is sitting up there, though. It's not where you start. I think somebody said this is our lowest rated class since 12. And I go, yeah, look where 12 started, look where they finished. Because you got 3 All-Americans in that class. But that's the weight room, and that's nutrition, and that's academic support, and then that's the coaching on the field, and the kid doing the job. So there's some body types like that. There's some length. There's some really good players that are coming out of really good programs. But to me, there's going to be a lot of development. So recruiting's one phase of the deal, and the next deal is development. I do think every year we're starting at a higher development part. So we're bringing a better product, and hopefully we got a lot of work to do, but excited about these guys. Did I miss Cole? Oh, geez, he'll be mad. Yeah, Cole just hit me here. I guess here's, let me show you this. I just got some message from Cole. This is the stuff recruiting's about. Steve. Now this isn't on Twitter, so you can handle. You do text on it? You text? Yeah, this is text. You can handle this. See, I'm out of the Twitter world for him. So Cole sends me this deal, and he says, "You'll love this." Just now, this is like at 10:17. Coach, let's talk numbers. What does that mean? No, jersey numbers, right? Everybody wants to wear number 1, 2. Nobody wants to wear 29. Nobody wants to wear 57, my freshman number. 57 is a great number. So I said to him, here's my number, 812-325, blah, blah, blah. What's yours? I love this number again. He goes, I'm talking jersey numbers. I said, I'm thinking like 1,275 yards and 12 TDs as a frosh. How do you like those numbers? So anyway, that's my Cole Gas conversation. Cole is a dynamic little dynamo. He is explosive as all get out. I don't want to make comparisons, but he compares to some dudes that play in this league that are kind of short and explosive and are great punt returners. He's a running back. He's a running back for sure. I think we could play him in slot. I think he's a fly sweep guy, maybe a return guy. He's not overly tall. He's in that 5'9"-ish range, but extremely powerful, compact, strong thighs and lower body, very, very explosive. He's a running back coming in, and even more of a running back than Keontae, who plays running back. Probably Keontae's more versatile in playing other positions. Cole is a pure running back that can do some slot. And again, he plays for St. Ed's, the state championship, big division Ohio team. Great program, great player. Had him at camp. I would rate him explosively as high as many premier backs that are rated high. That kid's got some juice. He's coming up with a great program. He's going to be a heck of a player. So I apologize, Cole, for missing you. because he's actually one of our favorite guys. They all are. All right, some questions? You guys followed all the Twitter stuff, Dave, you got it all, so I'm in good shape.
When you talk about comparing it to the 24 class, who's doing that? And I assume that you don't mind that comparison.
No, well, I don't know. I mean, everybody gets into ratings. Like, what are the ratings? You know, and our ratings actually went up because in Weaver's world, we picked up a 5.7 and a 5.6 and a 5.4 today. Nobody knew about it. If I knew your numbers, which I don't know, but that's what they are, right? So then points go, but then all of a sudden, too, what happens to those guys you sign that never play? You know, it's where you start. Well, we've done a nice job of, it's just we're starting with better bodies. And this is another good body class. And it's a body class that you'll sit here and say, not say you, but it's recruiters say, hey man, they've struggled defense, they need defensive guys. We've recruited so hard on defense the last few years, we need to hit some offensive guys in this class. You know, because you got Sammy Cobbs and Ricky Jones and some receivers getting on the old end. You just lost a couple of tight ends. You're losing some veteran linemen. You got to get the next guys. You want to get the quarterbacks. We tried to go JC for an answer, but a young guy. The running backs. And so I just think the guys look at numbers, where the classes were. This class got rated, one, a little slow, because one, we don't do a lot of early commitments. You know, just because I think to get good players, you got to earn their trust. And I don't know if we've been good, quite honestly, Andy. And I think as we went through the season, you know, we weren't sure, like, again, you know, you're sitting there and you guys say, but when you're recruiting and there's 2 years left on the contract, ain't nobody want to play for that. Because who's going to be your coach? When I showed up here, I showed up with seniors and juniors that were recruited when Coach Hefner was fighting and Coach Lynch was an intern. And all the kids heard for 2 years is, who's going to be your DB coach? Who's going to be your line coach? What offense are they going to run? What defense? So there's so much uncertainty. You know, now that we've gotten, and the contract thing just took time, because when I stalled during the bowl game, because I didn't want to talk about it for 2 weeks, I wanted to win that game. And I was almost being superstitious. And I knew we were going to get a good deal, and so and it wasn't for me a good deal, it was a good deal for the program, for the strength coaches and his staff and our the whole deal. Mr. Glass and I, we put a lot of work into what was the broad-based approach. That might have hurt us with some of our in-state local guys. Going forward, I hope it really helps us. Because we're going to attack those guys hard, but man, we're on some stable ground. We need some better players. You know, if we get a couple more of those cosmetic guys, it's going to cosmetically look better. But these kids we've added in, we're not stretches. I'm telling you, I'm holding 2 right now, and we walked away from some. Okay, don't think, now again, we had some kids on campus that chose other schools. Fact. We also had some kids on campus that we walked away from, that we didn't think fit us or we didn't want. That's a fact too. We're very, if Mr. Glass just left, we give these kids a lifetime contract. You can't cut them. So when you bring them in, they better be good enough. And so if we have reservations, and I call plays in about 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, but when I got my time, I'm as conservative as all get out. You know, I mean, I think you ought to take your money and bury it in the backyard in a jar. You know, the way some of these investments are. I want to be conservative. I have a conservative approach to a lot of things. And we're very conservative in our recruiting approach. We're aggressively going after people, but we want to get people that can make it here, academically, socially, and play winning Big Ten East football. So, you know, sometimes you just look at those, you know, stats. And somebody just gave me, well, I don't read all that stuff. Somebody said, hey, somebody says your worst class is 12. And I go, well, shoot, that was pretty good. You know, I'll take that one. You know, IU will take that one a lot. So I hope this class is, I hope it's better than 12, which would be really good. We'll keep going. But it's just, you're welcome. You know, it's subjective comparisons. You know, at the end, that 12 class was good enough to be 6 and 7, so we got to be better than that.
Aside from the tight end position, how do you rate this class from a physical standpoint that you were looking for? Speed, all of that?
Yeah, again, the real thing, I think there is some speed, but I think just the size and wingspan, the length of bodies. You know, those, like Jonah Morris is 6'4", 6'5", Phil Binker's 6 couple at receiver. You know, I felt a couple of years ago in our first or second class, I made a comment where recruiting our receivers getting too small. And you got some size. Now there's give and take. The bigger you get, sometimes the slower you get. So there's a little bit of take there, Don. Those DB guys have nice size. I don't think there's one under 6 foot. You know, we used to throw some 5'8", 5'9" guys out there. We're at Drayton 6'2". Khalil's probably 5'11". He's probably, but he's the physical kid. Khalil's got some punch to him. So there's just longer bodies. They're very athletic. Some of those big guys got to get bigger, stronger. But I mean, in general, I would say the thing that pleases me most is not what the ratings could be or who else recruited them. They're just longer bodies and are more athletic. And each year, I think we're recruiting more and more of those. And you know, 4 or 5 years ago, the team looks a lot different now. We still don't always play as great as we need to play, we gotta keep getting better, but we just are bigger, longer, faster as a team, and we gotta keep adding to that.